Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome in to the virtual Daytona International Speedway for tonight's live coverage of the Intimidator Superspeedway Series, brought to you by PGR eSports. My name is Dawson, and I'll be bringing you all the action tonight. I'll have my partner Matthew Baker with me here in just a little bit. He's handling his duties as race controller before we get under the green flag for the first time tonight. A kind of a bit of a landmark night in PGR eSports tonight. A debut of another car we have never seen before in this series. The old 2012 Nationwide Series cars. If you'll remember back, the Chevy Impala with the duckbill spoiler. It's on track for the first time in PGR history tonight, and we are in for a really, really good one. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight. We're glad you all are here. Go ahead and share the link out now as we are getting ready to get under the green flag. 70 laps of racing tonight under the lights at the World Center of Racing. And the field is about as loaded as it can get. It's a Thursday night. You know what that means. The best and brightest stars in money racing are on the racetrack and ready to do battle and ready to handle a new car that some of us on this service, myself included, might remember from the days of old when this car was in the rotation of NASCAR sanctioned cars. Those days are long gone. Kind of aging myself a little bit with that one, but we're bringing them back tonight, and certainly going to be a spectacle to behold. A couple of other things here before we go green. You notice we're green a little bit earlier than usual, and that's because a couple of very important things to share with you here tonight. First and foremost, welcome back to PGR Racing and racing in general, John Ward, one of our colleagues here in Money Racing. He's been gone for the last several weeks, and you may be asking, well, why wasn't he on track? Well, he was affected by the events of Hurricane Helene a few weeks ago, but certainly so glad to have him back, and glad that he is back able to join us again here after just a few weeks. So great to have him back. I know in chat already welcoming him back. So yes, welcome back, John Ward, the captain for Hyper Motorsports. He's itching to get back on track and get back to victory lane and get back to what he's used to, and he is back in the field tonight. Another thing we want to mention, coming up in a couple of weeks around the Halloween holiday, there's going to be a big marquee 500-mile event hosted by McCullough Motorsports, the Halloween 500, coming up in just a couple of weeks as we get ready to kind of ring in another 500-mile season, if you will, a season of anticipation to that 500-mile event. It'll be on October the 27th, will be the date of the race. It'll be in the Xfinity car. It'll be 200 laps right here at the World Center of Racing, and there will be a lot of payouts to go around in that one. A ton of money in that prize pool for drivers to win, and more information will be coming about that as we get throughout the next couple of weeks. But again, the field for that one's starting to fill up. I've seen some of the entries. You're not going to want to miss that one either. The Halloween 500 coming to you in just about 10 days from right now. Well, 30 seconds to go until we get on track for this one here tonight. 70 laps at the Daytona International Speedway, 80% fuel. We'll see what the range is on that here in just a little bit. About 25 laps is what I anticipate just off the top of my head. One additional set of tires, that's right. 70 laps, you get one extra set. You get the set on the car, and you get a set in the pits, and that is all you have for 70 laps. And no fast repair tonight, which has been a PGR staple over the past several weeks. So the format, relatively normal to these guys, a bit longer race. The car is what they will be fighting with tonight, and we are about to get down onto the starting grid for tonight's event. 70 laps, getting ready to go, and it is just about that time. As we get you ready, qualifying ends. We're waiting on that countdown to expire. And here we go. We'll get you right down trackside and into tonight's starting grid for this big-time event. On the pole for tonight's race in this brand-new car, why am I not surprised? It's Garrett Maines in the 41 on your timing and scoring. He'll lead off this field from the inside of row number 1. To his outside will be the defending champion of the Podium 500. It'll be Kyler Wynn in the 32 machine on your timing and scoring. Row 2, it'll be Malik Ray in the 9 machine on timing and scoring tonight with Cody Nagels of Nightmare Esports to his outside. Row number 3, starting 5th, will be Dylan Basin in the 36. It'll be Mike George in the 2 machine right there to his outside, that red, white, and blue Chevrolet. Row 4, D3, Daniel Eberhardt will roll from position number 7. It'll be John Mullahan, the number 20 on your timing and scoring. Would not be surprised to see a 6 or a 2 on the side of that car. He'll roll from 8th. And row 5 will be Josh Bonwell in the 4 machine, and Andrew Navarro listed in the 35. Row 6, Kenny Reel In the number 11 machine, he'll roll off from 11th. It'll be Landon Veliky of Nightmare Esports that'll roll from 12th. Row 7, Jeff Merck for NBG Motorsports, and Mike Davenport for PGR. He'll roll from 14th. Row 8, Chris Melton in the 24. What a run for him a week ago. He finished second in one of his first races in the series. He'll roll from 15th tonight. Corey Cook, welcome back to PGR. Corey will roll from 16th. Row 9, James Wagner in the 12 machine will roll from 17th position. His outside will be Mark Vondell in the 59 for McCullough Motorsports. Brian Hennings for Team PGR, he'll roll from 19th. And rounding up the top 20 will be Chase Mastretta in the 27. Going back to row number 11, it'll be Steven Scott Jr. in the 8, in addition to Hyper Motorsports, I believe, here tonight. Starting 22nd, it'll be Noah Lurch in the 1. Again, a guy that made his debut last week. Evan Carlbon will roll from 23rd. He's a new addition to Team PGR in the 78. His outside will be Axel Smith in the 97. Row 13, a new driver, Josh Van Westen, will roll from 25th. It'll be Rick Baldwin, who made his debut last week, rolling from 26th. Jimmy Emos will roll from 27th position in the 34 to be Jared Haynes for the Jack Shack in the 28th position. And row 15, going to be Logan York in the 01. And there he is, the captain for Hyper Motorsports, John Ward, will roll from 30th. Dylan Jones will roll from 31st tonight. It'll be Josh McCullough back in 32nd. Nash Brambilla for PGR in 33rd with Chris McCullough in 34th. Sean Corbett 35th with Kenny McCullough, the captain for McCullough Motorsports, in 36th. Tucker McClendon in the 16 will roll from 37th with Austin Floyd back in 38th. It'll be Sammy Carter in the 15, rolling from 39th place tonight. Doug Camp will roll from 40th. And Devin Ray for the Jack Shack, listed as the final entry on track. He'll roll from the 41st and final running position. The cars are on the grid. They're now on track, and they are pacing behind the iRacing.com pace car as 70 laps tick onto the scoreboard, and we are just about ready to get this one underway. And with that being said, we will now bring in my broadcast partner for tonight. If he's prepared, it'll be Matthew Baker. And Baker, look, a throwback for many of us, a throwback for me. I haven't seen these cars in a minute, but boy, am I ready for this one here tonight. This is going to be a good one.
Yeah, it's going to be a good race. Really excited to watch this. It's going to be kind of hard for us up here in the booth to call. You know, we haven't had any of these paint schemes on track before. A lot of them have some default paint schemes on. They just got this car today, or have only been in this car today. But, you know, some familiar faces up front: Garrett Maines, Cody Nagels, Kyler Wynn. So it should be a good show.
And we're getting ready to get that show underway for the first time. And he talked about paint schemes. Look at some of these up here that are just not normal for these guys. Garrett Maines, Kyler Wynn, Malik Ray, just some of the guys that are in paint schemes that you will not recognize, and it may take us some time to recognize as well, but the names are the same, the faces are the same, just a little bit different look aboard those race cars tonight. 70 laps on tap for the Daytona International Speedway. It's PGR racing on a Thursday night, throwback style. The pace car will take the hard left turn, and we're going to get this thing underway. Garrett Maines leads the field into the restart zone for the first time. Green flag at Daytona. We are racing on a Thursday night. Bit of a scramble there as the field took by lap 2 off turn 4. A bit of an issue further back, about 5-6 rows deep in the field, and it has completely spread this lead group up. It's Cody Nagels for Nightmare that gets to the race lead. It's Mike George that gets to second on the inside, and now it's kind of a 2, maybe 3-pack race. All of a sudden, this field is very, very separated early in the going. About an 8-car breakaway up front, though, and already, and I'm not sure I expected this, lane managing at the front of the field, and this was not a thing in this car when it was in the rotation several years back, but right now they're going to try to resort to our modern techniques in a bit of an older car. We'll see how it works for him. It's Nagels on the inside, but it's Kyler Wynn, big surge to the outside. He will lead lap 2 at the line.
Change from Cody. Malik in the chat, he's apologizing. He was trying to stay off Garrett there, just got him a little offset. You can't push in the corners in this car, just like the Xfinity car, but this one's a little worse. It hooks you almost intentionally to the left, and if it's out of the corner, you are not surviving.
We saw right there the transition already, getting a couple guys out of shape early as they try to learn this car. It's Maines and Wynn, the front row for the race. Now the front row again as the field works its way up the banking of turn 3. But some new faces emerging towards the front. Jeff Merck, Landon Velicki have made their way forward already, as a couple of others start to make their way from the back to the front. And one of them, John Ward, plus 12 already for the captain of Hyper Motorsports. He's up to 20th. A couple other double digits, Chris McCullough, Josh McCullough, plus 11 apiece. So far the biggest movers in tonight's race. Lap 4 on the board, and again, you start to now look towards a pit stop. That's going to be around lap 20 to 25. And we anticipate these guys on pit road for the first of what would be 2 to 3 green flag pit stops. Oh man, almost trouble out back again. That was back around Eberhardt in the 90. And the 4 of Josh Bonwell as they work forward. No third line yet. Wynn down at the bottom. He'll take the lead into 3. And so far, a lot of room being given. Not sure how long that's going to last or how long the patience is going to last for these drivers before they inevitably try to go up towards the safer barrier.
What I'm learning right now is what line is faster when it comes to a green flag stop. If you're looking at 2 wide, they're side drafting each other just like you'd normally think. And you see 3 wide action start up front here, but that single file line really catching them.
Yeah, that line out back has really been making some ground, so the field is about to be all one again, at least all the way back to around the 27th, 28th, 29th position. And it will all be under a blanket once again. Third line, those 2 cars. Andrew Navarro, the 35. The 6 was Jeff Merck. Navarro going to drop out. Eberhardt will take his place up against the safer barrier outside of Landon Velicki, as well as the 20 of John Mullahan on the inside. And they're the only 2 up top right now. And much as we would on a normal Thursday night, it's not really working for them yet. Now they're going to have some help potentially in the form of Josh Bonwell. I'm surprised to a degree Garrett Maines hasn't jumped out, but he's going to stay put right in on the bumper of Kyler Wynn, who continues to control the race. On the bottom side, Cody Nagels, Mike George, the aforementioned John Mullahan. And out back, these guys just trying to find a hole as Eberhardt and Navarro have gotten some dice up top. They've gotten some ground, and now it's 3 wide for the lead down the super stretch.
Yeah, 3 wide for the lead. Kyler Wynn holding that middle really well. Garrett doing a great job pushing him. Cody Nagels holding those bottoms strong. I don't know who that is behind Cody Nagels. Is that Mike George doing a great job up front here? He was looking strong in practice, was handling the pushes really well, and was able to roll around. John Mullahan doing a great job as well up there. Bombwell as well. Merck, a lot of the players that we've seen week in, week out, it doesn't matter what car it is. Oh, a little squirrely on the bottom side there. Towards the back, that Napa Chevrolet towards the back got a little loose.
That's Mike Davenport in the Napa Chevrolet on the bottom side, about 7 cars deep, in behind the Jeff Merck machine. As we try to get used to paint schemes again on this inside line. Again, Napa colors aboard Mike Davenport tonight, not something we've seen before. And that's the case for several of the drivers in the field. Man, look at the amount of guys coming right at our camera that are just all kinds of out of shape. And it's something I noticed. I was testing this car yesterday just to get back in the seat, and it can be a handful. It's a little bit delayed, I think is the right word if I want to use that. It's a bit of a handful in that you're making an input to the left or to the right, and your car may still be traveling the other direction. And it's very, very delayed. You have to put a lot of wheel into it to get it to go one way or the other, and these guys are not really used to that with the way the cars drive now. Our modern versions of these cars certainly are a little bit different than how you have to drive this one, and these guys finding out very, very early on. Man, up front, Kyler Wynn, he's smooth sailing right now. He's getting nice pushes from both sides and not a ton of challenges from out back. Look at this, down the backstretch. Look at these guys, all of them out of shape, just in line, one after the other, all squirrely sliding up and down the backstretch.
Well, the problem is you get one car that starts to wobble, and then you're inherently going to wobble behind them because you think you're following a line, and then you start to notice it, and the car behind you starts to do it, and then everyone's snaking back and forth. Oh! Out of line just a little bit. Looks like that was Mike George. But a good push on the top side from Landon Velicki and Garrett Maines to Kyler Wynn. He's clear to the bottom if he wants to take it. Garrett Maines almost clear to the bottom. Not going to get it, though. But like I said, that single file line caught up really quick, and now we're back to almost the full field being back here. Only outliers looks like 3 cars right now.
Well, it used to be something we could do in these kinds of cars back in the day on super speedways, is if you got enough guys lined up, you could make incredible time, which you still can to a degree in certain situations in our modern cars, but it does not feel as powerful as it used to when you were in this car and you got 8-9 guys lined up that knew what they were doing, and you could fly around these 2.5-mile racetracks. And oh man, huge move off 4. Wynn's gonna throw the block and might send Cody out to the top side, and he will. He'll hang Cody out to dry. They're almost going to wreck up here at the front as Garrett tried to, oh man, look at Cody. I don't think he's too pleased with Kyler for jumping up and on his nose, and Garrett for jumping up and not really helping Cody, instead going with Kyler Wynn. So
you see what Landon Velicky did there? I just sorry to cut you off, but Cody Nagels got to get down towards the middle because Velicky cut off the nose of Davenport. That's any other driver there. I don't think that ends well, but props to Davenport having a cooler head there as Velicky is trying to get his teammate clear down to the middle.
They got him clear to the middle. As such, he goes down to the bottom. Cody was on the bottom for about 3 seconds, jumped right back up to the middle when he found a hole and found a bit of momentum, and it allows the 6 to jump right in front of Navarro. Further back, it's D3. Daniel Everhart that was 3 wide. Navarro's going to peak. Cody Nagels, I would imagine, is going to go back. Oh, man, Navarro tried to cut back middle, tried to deke him, but Nagels got back across the bumper. One car caught out on the outside. That's Corey Cook. And now, as a result of all this scrambling up front, Mike George has just held the wheel straight here on the bumper of John Mullahan and says, hey, thank you very much. I'm going to go lead some laps and get my nose in clean air because you guys can't figure it out amongst each other. Wynn now with a push from Maines, with a push from Merck. Navarro out 3 wide. Does Everhart go with him? Those two very, very restless. The 2 most restless drivers on track right now are Navarro and Everhart. Now a close third is Jeff Merck as it's starting to build in the 3rd line on lap 11.
And Jeff Merck, he loves the 3rd lane. Kyler Wynn blocks all the way up to the 3rd lane.
No!
He's going to wreck himself. Hangs
man.
onto it. Stack up's going to happen big time. We're 3 wide all around right now. Kyler Wynn not making any friends per usual out here.
What a save by Kyler Wynn. He manages to hold that car straight. And you noted the stack up. We're going to double check back here through the field. And it looks like everybody is so spread out towards the back end of the field that we were able to survive the stack up caused by Kyler Wynn. When he tried to come back down, or get up, excuse me, and block that 3rd line, that does not work.
One on the apron here, boys. One on the apron.
There's one on the apron further back as we track the field here into turn number 3. Get it sorted yet again, and it allows a couple new guys to lead. Garrett Maines has led already, but John Mullahan pokes his nose into clean air for the first time as Kyler Wynn did all that, got out of shape, got sideways, and managed to be second on the outside. Good recovery for Wynn as we are over halfway through our first green flag run. As these guys start to think about potential green flag pit stops. Mullahan, huge push on the bottom. Man, credit to Mike George early in this race. He's one of the most comfortable drivers, it appears, up front, at least in terms of pushing down the straightaways right now, but now they start to get squirrely a little bit out behind the 20.
Yeah, starting to get a little bit squirrely. You saw Mullahan. He was the beneficiary there. You see Garrett Maines drops down to the bottom, but he was the beneficiary of all that blocking. He was able to just roll through the bottom, roll through the middle, and then get clear back to the bottom side. Great job by him. But Kyler Wynn, he's able to throw those blocks because he's running a 210 steering ratio, which makes it a lot easier to catch the car, so he can throw those blocks and hold on to it, especially when he's, maybe not clear all the way or just barely clear. So it's a great job by him saving it. Stacks up the field a little bit, but everyone's able to save it, bind their P's and Q's, give everyone room, and no harm, no foul there. But when I was running practice, I saw 35 laps to the tank. I don't know if that's true. I think it may be a little bit shorter than that, like what you were talking about with 25. But if it's 35 or 36, it's going to be a wild race to the halfway point, because halfway is going to pay $40. No caution, but it will pay $40.
Well, interesting to note the $40 payout to the stage, almost in theory a stage winner, but we're not going to throw a stage caution, and that would be really interesting if that fuel window lines up right on the halfway number. I imagine guys are trying to save to make it just a lap past that, or 20 laps from that. Man, my number would be way off. I was kind of basing it on today's numbers, which 80% is about 25 to 30, but if it's 35, boy, we got a long ways to go before that happens too, for the way these guys are racing. Same two up front, Maines and Wynn. Then it's Mullahan and Cody Nagels. Then it's George and Merck. Then it's Josh Bonwell, Daniel Everhart. And don't look now, 6th on the outside, that black, white, and green Chevrolet the familiar 92 aboard that car. John Ward is plus 20 right now. Plus 20 positions. He started 32nd tonight. He's up 20 to the 12th spot, now 21 to the 11th spot for the 92 of Hyper Motorsports. The other biggest mover, Devin Ray for the Jack Shack, started 41st, shotgun on the field. He's plus 18 to 23rd. Both those drivers coming right through the field. As Maines and Wynn continue to lead, they've calmed down considerably here at the front. Not as much of a sketchy bit of racing here at the front. Now they've kind of calmed down. They're all minding their P's and Q's.
Yeah, Mollahan, he's getting frustrated. He wants Garrett to clear back up to the top, but he just can't. And these guys all wondering if there's going to be a caution at the halfway point. There will not be a caution at the halfway point, just like we mentioned. But, yeah, like you said, calm down, too wide. I think they just think they realized that driving like that this early in this car is going to be detrimental, because once you get damage, it's done. This car is absolutely toast, and you don't have a fast repair to go back on.
A little bit thinner ice tonight than maybe these guys are used to in terms of what they can get involved in and be able to survive it. So as such, a lot more room being given now. You see the distance between all these race cars as they race down the Daytona Super Stretch. Corey Cook plus 8 up to 4th on the outside in that 61 machine. Again, we mentioned John Ward. Logan York as well on the move, plus 16 for him. He's that blue and white 01 on the outside right in front of Andrew Navarro. Or excuse me, that's not Andrew Navarro. It's a different car back there. I believe it might be either Kenny Real or Dylan Basin. And now 3 wide starts again. Ward to the outside. Eberhard on his nose, and all of a sudden, the minding P's and Q's has ended again here at Daytona. D3, look at this surge to the outside on the bumper of John Ward in the 92. They're going to get a huge run here down the backstretch. Look at the way they're timing this push. There's not going to be much that this middle lane can do to hold them off, and Eberhard will surge all the way to the race lead. Will he get clear of Cody? It's going to be awfully close. He will get it top to middle, all the way to the bottom. New leader in 3, it's Daniel Eberhard.
You know, Eberhard, he runs these older cars well. He's been on the service a while, just like you. And he knows how these cars work. You know, with the damage model update, it takes a little bit more of a push than what he's used to, but he knows how to gin up these runs. John Ward gets clear. What a push on the outside to John Ward. John Ward to the lead in the middle line. But we're showing it right now. This third lane is viable. With how cool the track is, I wasn't sure. I didn't know if the temps were going to be able to hold on the outside lane because you can push so long in the middle and the top. But it's proven right now to really be effective on that top lane as Logan York is leading at top 3 wide.
Yeah, Logan York trying to get to the race lead. Nagel's trying to make sure he can't do it. The pusher on the outside is Basin, and they're not going to quite get clear on the outside. It'll be Eberhard surging back to the bottom. It'll be Ward in the middle, and it'll be York top side. They're going to gain another helper, Corey Cook in the 61, as the top lane fades just a tad bit, not much. And they're rallying back. Huge rally by the top here. I mean, this is some of the most viable third lane racing I've seen in a long time in any car, as Logan York's able to hang, almost get himself clear. Merck and Nagels fend off the run again, and to the lead now solely up front. What a great moment this is. Off turn 2, the only leader on the bottom side, it's John Ward for Hyper Motorsports.
This racing is unbelievable. Coming up on 2 lap cars, Ken McCullough and Sean Corbett, they should get out of the way here. But this racing is just unbelievable. Great lane managing by Ward and Eberhard to get clear to the bottom side. This top side really coming into play. Basin is able to keep his temps up. Ward's clear to the middle if he wants it. Eberhard's got no help. But look at the push on the bottom side. I can't believe how big of a push this is. I mean, Eberhard may get clear to the middle. He does. He gets clear to the middle. He'll hang out John Ward.
Oh, man, look at these lap cars up ahead of the field. They're going to be looking in the mirror here in just a moment. They're going to bail out of the way smartly here onto the apron as the field works their way by them. Eberhard in the middle. It's Ward on the bottom. It's York top side as they try to gain some more help in that viable top lane. And I think as they hang around, as they rally back, some of these guys further back, I'm talking like Landon Velicki, I'm talking like James Wagoner, they're starting to realize, hey, I can get track position if I go up there and just build the energy to that line and try to get positions, although now they both drop out and drop into the bottom lane in behind this long, snaking inside lane that continues to grow as the pit stop grows ever closer. Ward back to the lead, lap 22 on the board. Eberhardt with about a group of 5 in the middle, and it's still those 3 pesky cars in the top lane led by Logan York. But they have not been able to get much, and now the temps may be gone for Dylan Basin. They may have to settle to drop back towards the middle line, about 6 or 7 cars deep.
Yeah, well, but, you know, they learned a lot there. I think the entire field learned a ton 3 wide here. But these lap cars are coming up on them, split 2.
As they will come up on a couple of lap cars. Up ahead on the banking. Oh, man. Oh, they got to bail really quick. That was almost a disaster zone around those couple of lap cars. One of them was the 40. I noticed it went a lap down. It's Austin Floyd. Not sure who the other one was, but both those cars bail quickly out of the way, and the field is able to continue on. And now the third lane collapses here in 1 and 2. York jumps in, but gained track position, and that's the keynote there. 4th on the outside now for York as he gained a bunch of spots on that run. Ward moved up to the middle, allowed Kyler Wynn some space on the bottom on the bumper of Maines and Mullahan and George. In the middle trying to rally back with that bottom so far in the middle of the corner. I mean, we noted it a couple laps ago. Look at this surge they're going to get from middle of turn 4 to the exit right here. When you got a good pusher, man, that bottom line is so hard to beat. But now, Ward, Eberhardt, and Nagels able to fight it off. Lap 24 goes on the board.
Hey, you got to really plan your runs out here. Even with this big-ass spoiler, you still got to really plan your runs out. It doesn't catch the air like you think it would. It kind of reminds me of the Gen 5 car right before we switched to the Gen 6. That it just takes a while to gen up runs, and the bottom really benefits from it. Cody Nagels to the outside. He can push for Jeff Burke. Oh, squirrely Jeff Burke. He's going to save it. Oh, my goodness. Got down into Logan York. They all kept it together. Cody Nagels down, and you see Ward taking it down to the bottom side. Hopefully everyone can shuffle it out here, but the guy who loses out the most
trouble in the
Jeff
wall.
Burke into the wall.
Jeff Merck in the back end is off of the 6 machine as he is going the wrong way. They're going to wreck. They're going to wreck out behind them. Several cars involved. Noah Lurch is around, and a big crash back here around the back end of the field is going to put us under the caution flag right before the pit stop. Jeff Merck destroyed. A couple other cars involved as well. The 21 of Josh Van Westen is involved. Chris McCullough was involved. Noah Lurch was involved, among others. That brought out our first caution flag of the night. We'll go back and take a look and see what happened here. It all kind of started. We're actually going to go further back than this because this started off the exit of turn 2 when Cody Nagels went to jump up on the bumper of Jeff Merck, and Merck was having none of it, or I thought at the time he was having none of it. Let's go back one more time because I think he just tries to square up and the car gets out from under him. And this is kind of what I said earlier when I said your inputs have to be a little bit more because this car, it feels very delayed. I think that's exactly what happens right here, and as Merck's out of shape. By this point, you're trying to counter it back to the right. Now you have to counter it back to the left, and it's just all over the place for Merck. Now he saves it the first time, and props to Dylan Basin, who's really going to cut him some slack here on the entrance to turn number 3. And now in the middle of the corner, does Merck try to get back in line? No.
It looks like his right front was broke. He had no option when he came off the wall. He really couldn't steer the car.
Oh, man. Well, we saw it right there. We'll go back and show this to you again, as that is the 24 of Chris Melton. Watch this contact, and this is something we've dealt with over the past few weeks in other cars. Watch this contact for the 24 and the 6 right there, about 1.5 to 2 feet of right rear net code, and that's something we have said a lot over the past month, especially in the B-Class car, just not in this one. Unfortunately, it plagues us right there, and Merck, yeah, when you hit the wall like this in this car, there's a decent chance his wheel is already completely broken, and when he comes off the wall, just no choice but just to try to drive it straight. He gets hit from behind. That's Chris McCullough. Noah Lurch gets involved, and then they start to wreck on the front straightaway with Merck and others. Man, this would be several. Axel Smith involved as well as Josh Van Westen. As the field comes to a stop. Luckily, this didn't collect more cars because, again, when Merck comes off the wall, he can't steer. I mean, he is completely helpless when he comes off the outside wall. Show it to you again. And again, kind of watch the right rear corner of the 24, the left front quarter of the 6. And you can clearly even tell in that angle they are not hitting. It just unfortunately registers contact. And by the time Merck comes off the wall right here, actually watch his left front tire. It's actually going to kind of toe in a little bit as he comes off the wall. You may not be able to see it in this angle, but as he tries to drive it off the wall, the tire right there actually toes in just a little bit and actually comes off the axle. And by that point, he is completely powerless. Chris McCullough nowhere he can go. Noah Lurch is an innocent bystander, and then it is on from there from the cars behind them. Again, Van Westen and Axel Smith. But again, with Merck coming off the wall like that, extremely, extremely lucky that we did not see a lot more cars involved in that one. As you see, both tires on Jeff Merck's car are completely off the axle and gone. And that's the damage that Baker was talking about. When you come off the wall, sometimes you pay really devastating consequences.
Definitely pay devastating consequences. We see one car back down pit road, but this is going to be a 10-lap, coming to 9-lap shootout here for this halfway point. So you're going to see some really, really tough nose racing here. The bottom side is going to get a huge push from Everhart. Bottom's really going to line up well here.
We'll reset, restack the field for you again. 8 laps until the halfway break as we prepare to pay out $40 to that halfway lap leader. And it'll be Kyler Wynn that leads the field back to the green flag. It'll be Garrett Maines, our pole sitter, outside of him in second. Row 2 will be Daniel Everhart and Cody Nagels. Row 3 will be John Mullahan and John Ward. Row 4 will be Chris Melton and Landon Velicki. And row 5 will be Mike George and the 11 of Kenny Reel. As now, as we talked about just a moment ago, we've now seen the third line come in just a little bit. It's been viable, and now the field has seen that. They've been able to process that. And if you're a guy with a teammate in here, you're telling them, hey, it works. First chance we get. If we get an opportunity, let's go get us some track position. It's for sure viable. And looking at some of the guys back towards the further back in this field that are on the outside line, I'm looking at Landon Velicki and Kenny Reel. A couple guys behind them, Mike Davenport, J.R. Miller, a pair of teammates, or excuse me, not J.R. Miller, it's Mike Davenport, Evan Carlbon, a pair of PGR teammates. I'm looking at guys like that to jump out, make it viable. Further back, Logan York, Devin Ray, Malik Ray, Dylan Basin, Dylan Jones, guys that are mired deep in the field that could absolutely make the viable third line work.
100%. We are coming through 3 and 4 here for the final time. Going to take the green flag. Really excited to watch this little shootout that we're going to have. No caution, like we said before, but they're going to treat it like it's coming to the checker flag. You can double up your money pretty quick here.
Well, here we go. 8 laps to settle it for the halfway break, but more laps than that to settle it in the race. 43 to go to be exact. A pit stop still very much in play in this race. Green flag back in the air. Wynn on the inside, Maines on the outside, and as predicted, bottom line rolls better. 3 deep pushing already. It's Wynn pushed by Eberhardt, pushed by Mullahan, topside rallies. Maines pushed by Nagels, pushed by John Ward. Climbing the banking of 1 and 2. Outside trying to get connected, but just not. And there is that massive surge from the bottom. Daniel Eberhardt pushes Wynn almost clear to the lead. It's going to be very close as the field works its way out of the back straightaway for the first time. Guys starting to look, starting to peek further back, 5, 6, 7 rows deep, trying to get in position to gain some track position before this break. The outside hold serve, for how long I don't know, but for now, Garrett Maines holding right on the right side door of Kyler Wynn in 3.
Yeah, doing well. Cody Nagels doesn't have much help out back, but he's able to stay connected to the bumper of Garrett Maines. Not really pushing him in the corners, but he's able to arrow push. Him and Eberhardt are two of the best that do it in the Xfinity car. It's why you saw it on Tuesday night. All of us up front really mixing and matching. Wish I could have got it done, but that was a fun race nonetheless. But these two right here, they were the main proponents of why I got up front with them leading that third line, because they know how to arrow push, and it is very, very prevalent in this car. Kyler went up to block in that second lane. He's going to get a big push down the backstretch, able to hang on to it, but huge surge here coming from the top line. Unless they can get help on the bottom, which they will, John Mullahan is proven to be really, really good in this car here.
Chris Melton is kind of just silently sitting there, third on the inside. Mike George has run well all night, 4th on the inside. As both those guys having a really nice run so far. Both guys that are used to some success here in PGR. Melton obviously ran second a week ago to Cody Nagels in the Gen 6 at Talladega in our race just 7 days ago, and now finds himself just outside the top 5. Now will burst into the top 5 as the field works the banking of 1 and 2. Top side working further back. It's 10 rows deep right now with Wagner and Navarro, but they're trying to start it towards the front, and now a couple other takers are going to jump up there. Corey Cook was up there. Now Wagner going to jump out of that third line. There was one other car up there as well. Couldn't tell exactly which car that was. I believe it might be the 25 of Rick Baldwin, who will jump up there again, and they will be the first to try that third lane.
Oh, no, there it goes.
Oh, there
I
it
knew
goes.
It was coming.
Out back, it's Kenny Reel in the 11 as he's going to go sideways. And the green flag is going to stay out. We're going to go back up front. No caution yet. It was Kenny Reel that got out of shape. And if we get a chance, we'll take a look at it here when we get to the next caution flag. But for now, it breaks the field up in a huge way. Back around, trying to figure out where the disconnect is in this field. There really isn't a huge disconnect anywhere. There's about a 6/10 gap between Jared Haynes and Chase Mastretta. Mastretta, the Wrangler Chevrolet, the pink and black number 7 is Jared Haynes. From there, you have another about 8/10 gap from Navarro to Malik Ray. But really, it's all small gaps most of the way back. A few guys may have lost the draft, but it's definitely not many. As we have 4 laps to go till the halfway break. Win on the outside. Eberhardt on the inside. Mullahan and Maines are the pushers, but now significantly less energy to try that third lane. Does anybody try it? Corey Cook really wants to go, but cannot get much help up there, especially now with only a couple cars out back.
Yeah, just one around there that went on the apron. Wasn't going to throw the caution. Everyone else held it together. Kind of split up everyone. Hopefully see some more green flag racing here. But Kenny Reel, he is not happy right now on the chat.
We'll have to try to take a look at it when we get a break in the action. Obviously, with the halfway break looming, don't want to pan away from it too long. But you saw it kind of start on the right side of your screen just a few moments ago as Reel got turned in the stack up off turn number 4. And now is well off the lead track after going for a slide. 3 laps to go until the halfway break. Win still on the inside. Still Garrett Maines leading the outside with John Ward in tow. Josh Bonwell, Rick Baldwin, Chase Mastretta coming towards the front now. Corey Cook has been around here for a little bit. Andrew Navarro's trying to make his way back up here to the front. Jump to the high side for Win. I don't know how well timed this was. Bump back. Oh, man, that was a huge bump from Maines to Win. It almost got everybody out of shape. Look at these guys. The pushes are getting a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more on the edge of control. And Win, jumped to the outside. It opened the bottom again for Eberhardt. And John Mullahan, who continues to be probably the best pusher on track right now. At least one of them win another time out of shape. That's going to allow the bottom 2 surge big time through the tri-oval. Mullahan will jump up. Eberhardt will throw the block. Nagel's on the bottom side. He'll have help from Melton. But now it'll be Mullahan with the best help in Kyler Wynn as John Mullahan controls the field here in 1 and 2.
Big push on the outside. Mullahan's going to get a big shove. Again, the beneficiary of Kyler Wynn being out of shape. 3 wide back there, 2 cars deep, not really making it work. And man, they just keep hollering at each other on the radio. This is a recipe for disaster. And that car, the number 4 up there, I love Bomo, but he's been pretty out of shape in this car.
They're going to need a little bit more help too. They don't have the help. He's going to get in the outside wall. They're almost going to wreck out back. Corey Cook and Josh Bonwell, they are going to wreck. One car was out of shape. I think back here it was a blue car. And the caution flag will fly. It's Devin Ray that's out of shape in the blue and black 42. As the caution flag comes out. And it's right almost at the halfway break. We'll hold here for a second on the replay until we get pace behind the pace car. Figure out who takes this halfway bonus. As they are all kinds of fanned out here on the middle of the back straightaway. Here comes the pace car. I believe it's going to be Daniel Eberhardt, but we'll double check before we head back and watch a replay of what brought out our second yellow flag of the night. Pace car is going to pick up the field way back at the middle of the backstretch at the exit of the chicane. The front of the field is up here on the banking in turns 3 and 4, so give them a chance to back up to the pace car. But they are cycling through. It appears to be Daniel Eberhardt that's won the $40 halfway bonus. So congrats to D3 on leading the 35th lap of tonight's race. And they will crawl to a stop behind the pace car. We're going to go back and take a look at what brought out the second caution flag of the night. It was back here around Devin Ray, the driver for the Jack Shack, as he was the first one I saw get out of shape, and it kind of started up ahead of him when Bonwell and Cook got into the outside wall. And you're going to see it right here. Look at the nationwide orange and black Chevrolet. He's going to jump into the outside wall. Cook gets in the back of him, tears the back end of his car off, and as the stack-up starts, Devin Ray's going to get hit from behind, I believe. So he tries to scramble out of the way. Not enough room. Going to drive across James Wagoner. And to the inside he goes. And he's going to collect the 15 of Sammy Carter. But I'm only seeing those two. Obviously, as Ray comes back to his right, and that definitely appears like it's going to be a much bigger incident than it is. But Ray able to keep the car underneath him and keep on going. Take another look at it as, again, it was Cook and Bonwell, and right after he got done saying that Bonwell was out of shape, he gets into the outside wall. The first one tonight to get into the outside retaining wall on exit, which is a problem that I also noticed doing some pack testing last night. You're going to see Bonwell going to tail whip the outside wall. And when Cook hits him, the field starts to stack up. And Devin tries to go high right here because he thinks they're going to wreck down the racetrack. As soon as he realizes they're not going to, he has to scramble back to his left. And as he does, he jumps across James Wagoner's bumper and goes sideways. And Samuel Carter, just nothing that he could do. Driving along. An innocent bystander as Ray comes across his nose. As that one brings out a caution flag. And lucky for everyone around this, that this was not, again, bigger than it was. Because this could have been a big disaster for the guys running back at the back end of the lead pack. And somehow we got away with another one here as the field worked its way off turn number 4. So as we let our race controller Matthew Baker continue to tend to his duties, take another look at this from the drone cam as Ray came across the nose of the 15, and all things considered, in a lot of other cars, that is not a fatal hit to your race, but certainly a considerable amount of damage. Getting a report that it is minimal damage for both, at least Devin Ray, maybe both of these race cars. Oh, maybe not. Look at the left front wheel of Sammy Carter. Look at that 15's left front tire as it was towed all the way in. That's going to be a night ender, I believe, for Sammy Carter, as he is unfortunately going to be one of the first drivers out of tonight's race due to the wreck here on lap 35. So we're getting ready to try this thing again. Lights out atop the pace car. Lap 38 will go on the board. 33 will be remaining in tonight's race. It'll be Cody Nagels and Garrett Maines now on row 1. It'll be Chris Melton, Rick Baldwin on row 2. John Mullahan, Landon Velicki on row 3. It'll be Daniel Eberhardt, Malik Ray on row number 4, and Evan Carlbon and John Ward back on row number 5. Real quickly, do want to mention the payouts in tonight's race before we get back to green flag racing. This was based on 45. We ended up with 41, so this may scale down a slight bit. We'll have to wait and see, but 5 spots getting paid out tonight, at least based on the advertised payouts. Again, these will scale down just a little bit, but here are the base payouts. 225 to the winner, 200 to second, 150 to third, 125 to fourth, and 100 to fifth. Again, scaling down very slightly. It won't be a ton. We ended up with 41. That's based on 45. And so decent payouts even here with a little bit less of an entry. That's a good payout for a car we don't run a lot. A lot to be won here for these drivers tonight.
Yeah, definitely a lot to be won. I heard you go over the base payouts as I was finishing up race control duties, but yeah, scale back a bit. 220 to first, 160, 140, 120, and 80, and still paying 50 for the halfway. So congrats to Eberhardt there. He's swept 2 stages this week. He had the stage win in Ron Morris, and then he gets the quasi stage win, halfway win for $40 there.
Yeah, nice cash out. There was, I believe, some stage money on the line on Tuesday as well. So Eberhardt having himself a nice week in terms of stage racing money. But as we get ready to go back green, now he's looking for the race payout as well. Nagels and Maines back into the restart zone. Green flag back in the air. And away we go towards turn number 1. 33 to go at Daytona. Nagels better push on the bottom from Melton, also got the better start. Maines awaiting the push. Oh man, Chris Melton in the right side of Garrett Maines. They're going to split 3 wide. Look at the move by Mullahan to the middle. That's not going to work. Mullahan played pinball for a second, and now unfortunately for Rick Baldwin, the odd man out is the 25, but not for long. He'll jump in line out back. Bonwell, Wynn, Wagoner, Smith, and now one more car jumping out. It was Malik Ray for a second. He'll jump back in line in a huge scramble about halfway deep in the field. These guys are all over the place as up front. Maines Nagels race for the lead. It'll be Cody climbing the banking first, but the better push is up top. Mullahan in the back of Maines.
Oh, that was a crazy start. I don't know. I thought it was about to throw the caution. I can't believe they all made it. The channel 1 that we have assigned is going nuts right now, so it keeps the driver chat to the minimum. But they are blowing it up. But you see this 3 wide. John Ward trying to get back to the front. Who's he pushing? That's Malik Ray. He wants to get to the front. So does Kyler Wynn. 3 wide already for the lead. Unbelievable racing. I'm thinking this car is about to become a staple in PGR if we can race it like this.
Yeah, Malik Ray, one of the most prolific recent PGR drivers, made his debut just a couple months ago and already one of the winningest drivers in the history of the series. He's going to go to the race lead on that long top side, the longest distance around the racetrack. He'll get all the way clear. He'll go to the middle, bottom with not much help. Does Maines turn left out from underneath him? Nope, going to hang in line. Now he'll turn left on the bumper of Cody Nagels. Ray will throw the anchor out here for a second, await John Mullahan's push, and Nagels will push Maines. Ward getting pushed up top by Kyler Wynn. John Ward trying to fight back on the outside. Mullahan trying to keep them from doing so. And bottom side is Maines and Nagels, both now with war-torn race cars on the bottom side of the racetrack. They both got considerable donuts on the left side of those cars from a couple of different incidents in tonight's race while these guys try to keep it green. Next time by, 30 laps to go. We are approaching what would be the pit window, at least as I anticipate. We'll have to see as the race gets longer what these guys decide to do, how these guys handle the racing. That'll tell us all we need to know as to whether or not fuel mileage will come into play in tonight's race. Wynn, Ward trying the top side, still not really going to work though, because here come the bottom and middle cycling. It's Garrett Maines to the lead, but not for long. Nagels on the bottom for Nightmare.
Good clear up there. Here comes the big push on the bottom side. But that second, I mean, the third lane is still 2 cars. Kyler Wynn doing a great job. He's had, 3 or 4 laps just by himself with Ward, able to keep that car up there. It's just proving time and time again that this third lane is something to be dealt with here at Daytona. I want to take this car to Talladega and see what it could do on a bigger track because, I mean, we're holding it together 3 wide here. Imagine what we could do at Dega. I'm thinking 4 wide.
Certainly very encouraging racing so far. And these guys have picked it up really quickly, too. It felt like a learning period for the first 10 laps, but after that, these guys have picked up the aggression, kind of started to test the limit of, okay, what can I do? What is the limit of this race car? What kind of moves can I make? And what can't I do? What's going to get me shuffled? What's going to cause an incident? What's going to spark the big one that we have not seen yet tonight up front? And it's only a matter of time the way they're racing right now. Maines in the middle. Nagels on the bottom, Ward and Wynn trying to hang out on the top side, but they're getting to the point now they need a little bit more help. They're able to rally to even with the leaders, but that's as close as they can get. They're going to need 1 to 2 more cars, and now here comes the help, and it all jumps out at once. Baldwin to the outside, York to the outside. Wagoner took a look, and don't look now, Ward and Wynn, but the cavalry's on the way on the top side. Ooh, but some contact between Baldwin and Mike George. They get it sorted out, but a third car up top is going to make this awfully interesting. Daniel Eberhardt starts to work his way through the field as well, 4th in the middle, as the stage winner tries to get his way back to the front, make it 3rd in the middle. Here comes D3.
Cody Nagels unwinded the wheel there out of the corner. I thought that was going to be a wreck. And Mullahan reporting his temps are cooked right now. So is Kyler. You see him drop down to the second lane like we were talking about. He gets in line with Eberhardt. I'd look for them to jump out there. Right.
Trouble! Malik Ray gets turned to the bumper of Cody Nagels. They're going to wreck on the exit of turn 2. There goes a couple cars. Chris Melton is around. Daniel Eberhardt's involved. Cody Nagels is involved. Couple other cars. And somehow, some way, we get it straight with only a few cars involved. I have no idea how we avoided a massive incident there. As Chris Melton and Cody Nagels for sure going to get the worst of this. But this could have been massive at the front of the field, and I thought for sure it was going to be. As we try to get a bit better angle of it here. Let's see if this angle gives us much. You're going to see Nagels in the back of Malik Ray, and this is what we talked about earlier. You cannot push in the corner. Well, Cody Nagels guilty of it right there as he gets to the back of Malik Ray, shoots him sideways, and now watch as the field scrambles. Nagels to the middle. Melton follows him. George going to go to the bottom, probably the smarter move, as Nagels tries to drive it off the car to the outside win. He's going to get sideways. And then there's all kinds of contact right here. Nagels into Ray, Melton into George. Melton spins across the field. He's going to collect Eberhardt and Carlbahn. And that is where we picked it up on the backstretch. Melton, Nagels getting the worst of this one. Kyler Wynn may have some significant damage as well as he got pancaked into the outside wall. Take another look at it here from up above. As Nagels was guilty of the one thing in this car that you really cannot do, and that's push in the corner. We saved it, but now watch. Cody's going to try to drive it off of the wall. He's got that thing as pinned left as he can get it, and it's just continuing to go to the right. And he's going to come back to his left. Melton comes down, hits George. Carlbahn is going to hook him to his right. Collect Daniel Eberhardt. Kyler Wynn involved as well. And Melton. This is the most terrifying thing you can experience at a super speedway, is being sideways across the field, not knowing where the drivers are coming from to your right. Luckily for him, everybody's able to slow it down and scramble out of the way and avoid what should have been a massive incident right at the front of the field. We'll take one more look at it before we get back to live action, as we'll go from the blimp cam high above the Daytona International Speedway. So watch up ahead. Cody Nagels and Malik Ray. Watch this push right here. Slides across the bumper, hooks him to his left, and it slaps him down on the apron. And now watch as Cody tries to turn left when he gets this hit from Melton. Watch him. His wheels are going to pin to the left. He's all the way left, all the way left, all the way left, and the car is just sliding up the banking. Unfortunately, gets into Kyler Wynn. And then he comes back down. He's able to somehow make the save, but Chris Melton behind him. Mike George as well. Not as lucky. Does George keep this off the wall? I believe he does. He will. Wow, really great effort from Mike George to keep that car off the wall and relatively unscathed. But unfortunately for Chris Melton and Cody Nagels, you cannot say the same. So we come back to live action. 25 laps remain when we cross by the start-finish line. And one of the dominant cars, two of the dominant cars of the night, Chris Melton and Cody Nagels, have experienced setbacks with 25 laps to go. As Garrett Maines leads the field. And we'll reset that field for you here as we get ready to go back green on lap number 47. Garrett Maines leads. John Mullahan is second. It's John Ward scored in third position right now. Josh Bonwell in fourth. And Chase Mastretta in fifth. Jared Hainsel rolls sixth. Andrew Navarro seventh. Nash Brambilla, first time we said his name tonight, he's eighth. Malik Ray is ninth. And Landon Velicki is in the 10th position. As we get ready to go back under the green flag again. The racing more intense. Getting to where now the pushes are over the edge of control. As these guys have reached the limit of what this car can handle. We've now found it, at least in terms of the corner. As Cody Nagels found that limit right there. And oh, interesting. Garrett Maines and a few of the other leaders onto the apron potentially to save some gas here under this caution. And then they'll hop right back up on the banking, so perhaps not. Very close, by the way, to making it on fuel. We might be able to make it from here, but several drivers further back. Ray, Wynn, a couple of others were on the apron saving in preparation for a potential saving situation late in the going of this race, a mileage situation should we need it. Those two cars were on the apron all the way around turns 1 and 2. We'll get ready to go. And the guys up front have been the guys up front for most of the night. The exception, obviously, Nash Brambilla has made his way to the front. Chase Mastretta has made his way to the front. But most of the guys up here have at least hung around the top 8, 10, 12 cars all night. Maines, Mullahan, Ward, Bonwell, Haynes, Navarro, Velicki, Ray, Cook, Wynn, all these guys that are up here in the top 15 have hung around most of the night. But a couple new additions, the 23 of Brambilla, the 27 of Mistretta. Further back, Devin Ray starting to make his way forward as well. So some new faces. Stephen Scott Jr. as well is just inside the top 15 also. So some new faces starting to come forward. But the guys up front have not really changed. Garrett Mange, John Mullahan will bring the field back into the restart zone. It'll be 24 laps to go on a Thursday night from Daytona. Green flag back in the air. Off towards turn 1 they go, and the bottom gets a much better restart that time. Maine's got going, and Ward is going to be to him. They're going to surge in a big way here going into 1. The problem is their help is nowhere to be found right now. 2 kart lengths back to Mistretta. Top lane going to form up easier, but now huge run for Mistretta, and the bottom will surge off the banking. Once they get onto the Daytona Super Stretch, it'll be all Garrett Maines until John Mullahan comes back with a push from Josh Bonwell.
Man, the old Team 3 FTG days right there. That's John Mullahan and Josh Bonwell. Love watching them work together. I know they're not on the same team anymore. He's over at McCullough Motorsports, and Bonwell took a little bit of a break, but this is really, really fun to watch here. I asked for feedback from some of the guys in the session. Garrett Maine's going to go up all the way, get blocked. Here comes the whole third line is absolutely rolling. Oh my goodness, the shuffling that's going on right now. And we still have about 20 laps to go here is unbelievable. 3 wide again after the first lap. You don't see this much, and except for in the next gen and the Gen 6. This car is competing with it for sure. Maybe the runs are a little slower, but I'm enjoying the racing I'm seeing now.
Oh, I'm having a blast up here, taking me back to a long-lost time of super speedway racing, and these guys are doing it justice for sure. It's Kyler Wynn that leads the top. Maines gets a bad push from Mullahan. The field starts to scramble. They all keep it straight somehow, some way again, and keep it going through the banking of 3 and 4. Wynn topside with Cook. Everhart was up there, and he's not anymore. Now that's Stephen Scott Jr. that will fill the gap. And further back, it was James Wagner who now bails out. Bottom side, new leader, John Ward leads again at the line, but not for long. Here comes Garrett Maines again in the middle with help from John Mullahan and Josh Bonwell. It's Ward on the bottom with help from Mistretta and Malik Ray, but top side revival again. Kyler Wynn and Corey Cook in the 61 trying to make it work. They might need one more car up there to make it really roll, and they might get it in the form of Andrew Navarro or Logan York. I would not be surprised at all to see either of those cars jump out of line. 3 wide again for the lead. Maines, Mullahan, and Kyler Wynn as the field again works its way through turns 3 and 4. The racing right now off the charts. The intensity continues to rise. 21 to go with the line.
Hey, you see Chase Mistretta. Oh, man! Bonwell gets down into Ward. Unbelievable. But Chase Mistretta, he's over with Hyper Motorsports tonight, racing with John Ward. What sweet revenge it would be on Nightmare eSports if he can get the win here in PGR. Try and get up front here, get to the middle line, and either push his boss clear for the win or try and get the win himself.
Oh, man, Bonwell all over the place. Somebody just blew up. Smoke out the back of Corey Cook. They're going to wreck big out back. Huge wreck on the back straightaway. Cars around everywhere, and the big one's going to strike halfway through the field. Evan Carlbon sideways and around. Corey Cook was the first one I saw get around. Another engine just blew down at the end of the back straightaway. And Brian Henning scrambled through the grass. He got through it, but others were not so lucky, and one of those cars was Corey Cook. We'll go back and take a look at what happened to the 61 as he was pushing Kyler Wynn and really was doing a great job of it too, but I think he just asks for a little bit too much. Let's see on the end of the back straightaway is he going to blow up just regardless? He's way off Kyler Wynn. There was a puff of smoke somewhere about halfway back, and it definitely was Corey Cook. Oh, there it goes right there. Big smoke out the back. It blows up. Nowhere for James Wagner to go. And then look at this melee start halfway back in the field. Wagner, York, Hennings, Haynes, Brambilla, Ray, Davenport, Carlbon. A ton of cars involved in this one. Big hit right there for Evan. Hennings has major rear end damage. And a total melee about halfway deep in the field has caused our third caution flag. of the night. Look at that. There's a tire bouncing down the grass. We'll have to figure out. I think it's Evan Carlbon's left front tire was bouncing down the backstretch. Watch another overhead view. You see it start up ahead. Cook is blown up at this point, and now it's just a mad scramble as these guys come into the wreck. Cook going very slow. Actually almost got up and over off Devin Ray. And the melee begins, and now there's a tire that you're going to see come flying off a car and just go bouncing through the infield. Let's see where we can see this tire bounce off of one of these cars. There it goes. Oh man, it's Carlbon's. It jettisons itself basically right at the end of the backstretch. Oh my goodness. It's Carlbon's left front. He can't steer at this point, so he's going to go down and get the inside wall, I think. On the end of the back straightaway right here. Oh man, big hit. So it was Carlbon's engine that we heard blew right there at the end of that clip. Watch one more angle, then we'll go to an onboard shot as the field worked its way down the Daytona Super Stretch. Again, you're going to see the melee start out front with Corey Cook blowing up. There's the puff of smoke, and here comes the melee. Oh man, big hit there for Carlbon, and you're going to see his tire. Man, look at it. Pop right off the car. Oh, and it torpedoes the engine. Unfortunately, his night's going to come to an end. We're going to go to an onboard camera now from the 11 of Kenny Reel, who is basically right in the middle of this melee. Oh, well, we were going to go to the roll bar camera. That's not going to work. We'll go to the cockpit instead. This is watching from onboard Kenny Reel. You see the puff of smoke? And look at this. Oh. He blinked out for a second. Managed to jump to the outside of the wreck and got past everything. He's going to be in a good spot right here. So Kenny Reel gets past it. Corey Cook, unfortunately, his night's going to come to an end along with Carlbon and several others. That will see their nights end as a result of this one. 19 laps to go. 18 when Garrett Maines crosses back by the line. We should get the 1 to go signal and go back green with 17 laps to go. As, boy, the racing continues to get more and more intense, and now the temperature is starting to become an issue as well underneath the hoods of these race cars. And right there causes a big melee. It's going to eliminate certainly some cars from tonight's race and also shuffle the running order. Garrett Maines, John Mullahan, row 1. John Ward, Josh Bonwell, row 2. Kyler Wynn and Chase Mistretta on row 3. Daniel Eberhardt, Andrew Navarro on row 4. Landon Bellicki and Logan York on row number 5. For this upcoming restart. And I acknowledge in the chat, now that I've had a mention, time to look at it, that some of our sound was messed up. Obviously, keep an eye on it. Please let me know, and I will do what I can. Obviously, everything sounds fine on my end, but if something is messed up, please let me know, and we will get it solved here as we get ready to go back under the green flag. And Baker, the intensity continues to grow here. 17 laps to go, and the push is getting harder, the move's getting bigger. Guys starting to find the limit of what you can and can't do in this race car.
Yeah, pushes are getting harder, but I'm looking at that number 4, second in line on the top. If he keeps getting all out of sorts, people are going to take advantage of it, get to his inside, push him out top of 3 wide, and see what happens.
So Maines and Mullahan again share the front row. Ward and Bonwell will share row number 2. And now we start to look backwards at guys that may be able to make this viable third lane work. Navarro, York, Davenport. Even further back than them, Nagel's not too far back now. Kenny Reel not too far back there now. Or they could jump out to the outside. Malik Ray still in this race. A lot of cars. They're still very much going to be able to make that top lane roll and make it roll big time as they start to make their moves towards the end of the race. As Maines and Mullahan will share the front row. Green flag going to come back out. 17 laps to go from Daytona. Who will get the better start? Nobody. Pretty much a stalemate. Now the bottom rolls just a little bit on the push of John Ward. They will surge here into 1 as Ward tries to get Maines clear. But it's good work by Josh Bonwell on the outside. He'll have Maines surging just a tad here on the banking of 1 and 2. Now the bottom surges again, but the outside, this is the best they've hung around all night long, and it's going to allow the McCullough Motorsports entry of John Mullahan to pace the field as Navarro immediately wastes no time. He's 3 wide halfway down the backstretch.
And Navarro's going to step out. Here comes Logan York. Here comes Daniel Eberhardt. He gets to the middle. They're going to get around this 4-car quick if they want to make work towards that front line. Chase Mastretta, he drops down to the bottom, hangs out the middle line. Only 2 cars really tucked up towards the middle. Now they're going to have to get on the back of Bonwell. Bonwell's going to give a big shove to Mullahan here. Garrett Bain's going to lead at the line. Again, after 1 lap, we're already 3 wide. Great racing up front. We just need a couple more up there, and it is going to start to roll. Cody Nagels looking to be one of those cars to get out there along with Mike Davenport if he can.
Mike Davenport's actually the car on the bottom. Identical paint schemes, bottom and middle right next to each other. That's actually Vondell in the middle as they're running the exact same car, the Napa Chevrolet. It was Vondell, and now the top line's rolling. Oh, man! Navarro cuts down across the bumper of Mullahan. That was close. Eberhardt got into York, got into Navarro, and almost caused calamity there on the back straightaway. Now they'll have to regroup. York, Eberhardt, Nagels now in your top lane as they will try to make things work. Bonwell actually thought about it there. He's still thinking about it. He's going to jump out. Josh Bonwell leads the top lane on the bumper of Logan York as Navarro leads the race. 15 laps to go. Nagel said, nope, I'm out. I'm too far back. 4th in line, not really worth it to me. And jumps back in line. But Bonwell going to try to reap the benefits here on the bumper of Logan York. But now their help all fades in a heartbeat. Logan York and Josh Bonwell have no help on the outside as Eberhardt and Nagels bailed out. They did not think that was worth it, but as you mentioned earlier, that top lane continues to hang around. York and Bonwell going to just be a nuisance to these guys up front for a little bit.
They are, and you know, the whole chat has been talking a mad shit on Bonwell, saying he's not holding the line, but I mean, he's been keeping it up here, keeping it up front. If they could get a couple cars up there to support him, he's going to roll. He's holding the best line he's held all night up top. He's using that wall as a reference guide, and he's able to hold a steady wheel. He just doesn't like being in the middle. You can see it right now. He's searching with Logan York. They just need another car up there. They get someone up there, they got something cooking for sure. Garrett Maines, he's pushing Andrew Navarro. You know he wants to get the win. It's been a while since he's had a good PGR win. John Ward would love to come back and get into victory lane. Andrew Navarro, another one with a lot of PGR experience, but just doesn't have that luck every now and then. Navarro's going to get clear to the bottom. Will he take it? He does. Bonwell's clear to the middle if he wants it. He doesn't take it. Logan York's going to be mad at that one. They're going to drift all the way back.
It was a very tight window for Bonwell. You expect a guy maybe like a Nagels or a Maines or a Wynn to take that gap, but Bonwell on the safer side of things is going to just hang up and stay on the bumper of Logan York and now try to regroup that top lane and get it rolling again on the safer barrier. 13 laps to go, well inside the field window. Maines back to the race lead. Mullahan back in clean air. Where did Brian Hennings come from for Team PGR? Oh, Bonwell and York make contact out back. Bonwell may have got the wall again, and now they're really going backwards in a hurry. They're 10 rows deep in the field already. Back to what I was saying. Where did Brian Hennings come from? The 74, the black and gray and white PGR Chevrolet, working his way to the front now, second on the outside. How big of a moment would it be for Brian Hennings if he could get to victory lane tonight? There's guys out back that want a bit of a piece of this before that can happen. Cody Nagels, Daniel Eberhardt, Kenny Reel jumping to the outside. Kenny McCullough trying to jump up front as well, looking for PGR win number 1, and they bring with them, guess who? Malik Ray as the third lane starts. Materialized trouble. Kenny is around. It's McCullough that goes sideways. Vondell is around, and the caution flag comes back out again. Dylan Basin in it. A couple other cars in it further back as well. Kenny McCullough is going to bring that car back up to speed, but no front clip. And the McCullough Motorsports captain as he gets sideways and into the wreck. Here with just 12 laps to go. Oh, man, they were 4 wide here for just a moment. And let's get an idea of what happened on this one. As Kenny McCullough was pushing Kenny Reel, and Cody Nagels is going to jump out of line here, and I think Kenny Reel tries to check up. Oh, man, does McCullough try to go to the middle? He does. McCullough tried to get to the middle. I don't know if he realized they were 4 wide. And as he cuts down, he's going to collect Jared Haynes, and that's all she wrote for the 0-3. He'll collect his teammate Vondell. And again, kind of just on from here when you get turned in the tri-oval like this. Not a lot of room. Vondell comes back up. The 37 going to get involved as that's Dylan Jones. Bondell going to get into it. There's Dylan Basin getting into it. Big hit for him. As those three come together. And unfortunately, appears as if it's going to be a night ender for a couple of these cars. Some big-time front-end damage on a couple of these entries. I mean, for sure, Kenny McCullough, no front clip. That's likely going to be a night ender for him. We'll have to wait and see. We'll get a better look at it here from the drone cam. And unfortunately, you're going to see Kenny McCullough right here. I see what he's doing. He's got space, but Haynes has inserted his nose already, and they're staggered 4 wide right here, and there's just not enough room on this racetrack. If this is Talladega, that probably works. But it is not. A bit more of a narrow racetrack, and Kenny McCullough goes sideways. Bondell, Dylan Jones, and Basin are going to come along and enter the fray as well. You'll see them get involved right here. Here's Basin, the Dollar General car. Oh, man, it's nowhere for him to go. Bonwell narrowly misses it. So does Chris Melton. York to the apron. So too did Corbett. A couple other cars as well. I'll take one more look at it, and then we'll get back to live action for a late race restart. And, oh, man, Kenny McCullough, it was there. He just didn't have enough for a run to get clear of Haynes and tried to clear down in the middle, and, again, probably just didn't know they were 4 wide. And unfortunately, takes the front clip off that race car. Jones, Basin, and Vondell also involved as well. Another 4-car incident, but another one that I'm telling you could have been a lot bigger than it was. Somehow, again, we get away with it. I have no idea. A couple times tonight, we've had a wreck 10th place or so on the racetrack that could have been 15 cars, and in some cases should have been 15 cars that ended up being 3 or 4. And that leaves a lot of cars without damage here with 10 laps to go. So 10 laps to go at Daytona. We'll take a breath. We'll regroup. It's Navarro out front with Garrett Maines second. It's Ward and Mullahan that will line up 3rd and 4th. Wynn and Hennings 5th and 6th. Chase Mistretta back in 7th. Daniel Eberhardt is 8th. Landon Vedlicki is 9th. And Cody Nagels is 10th. John Ward continues to be the biggest mover of the night, plus 29 for the Hyper Motorsports team captain. Devin Ray plus 23. Austin Floyd was plus 20. It still is plus 20. So some guys up a lot of spots with a big opportunity here. Ward probably in the best spot of any of those 3 that I just mentioned. Nash Brambilla plus 20 as well. Jared Haynes plus 16. And Sean Corbett plus 19. A lot of guys have made up a lot of ground thanks to the wrecks, thanks to the way that this race has fallen for them. And now a lot of these guys near the front that weren't here before have a huge, huge, huge opportunity with 8 laps to go.
They do. Let's pull up John Ward here real quick while we got a second. See what his plan is for this next restart. Hey Ward, it's Dawson and Matt up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, first off, welcome back. We're glad that you're safe and everything's getting repaired. Talk to me through this this restart. How are you gonna attack it here? How are you gonna attack Navarro's back bumper to try and get yourself clear to that middle line? And do you think you got a shot here?
First off, thank you for everything. Good to be back racing. I'm safe and the family's okay. My goal here, I'm gonna try to stay on the bottom. I want to try to stay on the bottom, keep it safe. But if I do get clear, I might jump up. But I'm gonna try to push the bottom. And if I do get clear, I might jump up. But I'm just gonna play it safe here and try to get a top 5. We'll see how it goes.
Definitely, man, and it's good to see you back. You got their first race back in PGR in a long time, first money race back in a long time. Try and get out there, get some money in your pocket, and hopefully get back in victory lane.
10-4. Thank you, guys. I'm really nervous and excited.
We're always nervous and excited. I did the same thing on Tuesday, and I wrecked. So hopefully you don't do the same thing. Get out there and go get the dub.
You got it. Thank you, guys.
Good to hear from John Ward. Obviously very encouraging to hear that everything is headed in the right direction for him and his family. You heard him say there. That's the best news we've gotten all night from him, is that they are all okay, and obviously he's in a position to join us, and so great to have him back on track, and now let alone be on track with a chance to win. And what a story this would be if the captain for Hyper Motorsports can put that 92 back in victory lane. Another guy with a ton of big PGR wins across his career. He could add another one possibly the biggest one to his resume here tonight. It's Navarro that brings the field into the restart zone. He'll have Garrett Maines to his right elbow as 8 laps remain. You thought it was high intensity before. You haven't seen a thing. Green flag back in the air. The field roars back to life as they work towards turn 1. Look at the side drafting already more intense. Mullahan got a bad start. Mullahan got a really bad start. He's 2 car lengths off the 41. Kyler Wynn going to jump up, but it allows the bottom to surge. Ward will lead the bottom, but now have no help. Mastretta, Velicki kind of rallying, kind of panicking here on the exit of turn number 2, trying to get to him. They will. And on the backstretch, it's Navarro versus Ward for the race lead as guys start to scramble out of line behind him 3 wide.
You know, the choice to go to the top by Wynn was great. Was going to give a big push to Garrett, but then Garrett had to check up for Navarro. That allowed the bottom to roll and to really form up with Chase Mastretta, and it allowed the top lane to start to form immediately. You're going to see 3 wide again, first lap out of corner 4. Daniel Eberhardt, he's going to have a run with Cody Nagels. Doesn't matter what the temps are, they're going to send it for sure. Kyler Wynn, he's 3rd in line on the top. I would look for him to be the next one to step out. Oh, man, Eberhardt. I mean, I don't know how he fit the car in there. Unbelievable getting back to the middle, hanging out Cody Nagels on the top side.
Huge push up front on the bottom. It's Mastretta in the back of John Ward in the 92. Surged ahead for a moment. It's Navarro now back to him. Maines, Wynn, Mullahan in tow. Eberhardt, you mentioned, got back in line. Nagel's going to try to find a spot as Haynes jumps back in as well. 3rd line dies as soon as it formed. Navarro gets sideways. Ward gets sideways. Can they hold on to the race cars? Real and Brambilla sideways out back. Ward's going to spin it in turn 4. Oh, man, can he bring it to a stop? No, he can't. They're going to wreck big out in front of him, and Ward's involved. A lot of cars involved. Kenny Reel, Logan York, Mike Davenport. Oh, more wrecking. Chris Melton. The 40 machine as well of Austin Floyd. We're going to have to get a look at where this one started because this was a couple different wrecks with 6 laps to go. Where does this one start? I have no idea. Try to get up above it here to kind of target where it started. Ward spins. I think it's going to start right here with Reel and Davenport. Oh, man. Oh, big hit to the wall. As it was Kenny Reel and Mike Davenport that were the first cars to get around. Let's see here. You see Ward up ahead. He's trying to make the save. He's still sideways. As Ward comes off the banking, Reel is sideways. He's trying to catch it. Davenport gets in the back of him right here. They're going to hook together, and they are going to pound the outside wall right here. Big hit for Reel. Basin, Davenport, York, Floyd, Axel Smith. Oh, my goodness. Devin Ray, are you kidding me? Sean Corbin involved as well. As the other guys trying to come to a stop as they get onto the scene of the accident. And they wreck even more. Here up ahead of these guys. Here comes Steven Scott. Here comes Chris Melton. Josh Bonwell trying to get off of it. Melton going to try to throw it through the gap. Oh, man, he almost makes it work. I think he's going to get collected right here by Austin Floyd as he comes back down, not holding his brakes. Oh, man. Floyd comes down to the path of Melton, who hammers the left side of Floyd's car. As these guys come to a stop, this was a melee and a half. A lot going on over the course of this wreck. Let's take another look here. And I want you to watch for the all-blue number 42 of Devin Ray as this melee begins. Watch for Devin Ray when this wreck starts. He's on the right side of your screen, that all-blue car right behind Austin Floyd. The melee is going to start. Reel goes left to right, pounds the outside wall. Basin nowhere to go for him again for the 2nd time tonight. And watch Devin Ray. Oh, my goodness. You got to be kidding me. York comes back across. Ray has to go back to his left. The C's part for Devin Ray. They do not for other drivers. Ward, Floyd, York, Corbett, Reel, and others involved in another. This one, the most serious incident of the night. We'll take one more look at it, and then we'll go to the onboard of Devin Ray as we got through the exit of turn number 4. Let's see if we can find a decent camera here. Watch it from the drone camera. You see Ward up ahead. Kind of getting out of shape. And you see Reel starting to get out of shape. They all save it. Everybody's out of shape. Then you see Ward spin And Real smacks on the brakes trying to lock it down and get off a Ward. There's actually wrecking out back as well. We'll have to go take a look at that. But Real pounds the outside wall. Davenport, Basin, York, and it's on from here. The track is blocked. And on comes the field.
Just unfortunate. Just after we talked to him, was running so good up there. Just a miscalculation by Navarro there. Coming down on the bottom lane. I didn't know if he was going to be clear. I knew he had a good push. I just didn't think he had the room there. And as soon as he went to come down, he just went across his nose.
Look back here, Rick Baldwin, as this starts. Oh, man, he gets hit by Melton. He gets turned. So Baldwin and Melton wreck out back as well as a secondary part of this incident. Well, now we're going to get on board with the 42 of Devin Ray, because this is going to be one of the better in-cars of the year right here on the 42 machine. So let's go back. Let's take a look from the onboard of the driver for the Jack Shack, Devin Ray. You're going to see it all unfold in front of him as the field climbs the banking. As Ward, Navarro out of shape, Mistretta out of shape. You see just how many guys were completely out of shape. And watch as the wreck starts, and watch as Devin Ray somehow gets through this one. Oh, man. Well, he had a front row seat to it and made it through. Did the 42 of Devin Ray. And we'll live to see another lap in this race. So 3 laps to go, and we take the green about a half a lap from now. It's Garrett Maines that leads. It's Kyler Wynn that's going to line up second. Row 2 will be John Mullahan and Daniel Eberhardt. Row 3, Landon Velicki and Brian Hennings, who continues his great run. Row 4, Cody Nagels and Chase Mistretta. And row 5 will be Malik Ray and Nash Brambilla. We are down to very few cars that do not have any kind of damage or fenders bent or donuts or what have you on the sides of these race cars. These things, even look at the guys in the front. All 4 of our top 4 have big donut dents in the sides of these race cars, and that speaks to the intensity of the racing that we've had here tonight.
It does, and it looks just like Dale Earnhardt when he got his last win at Talladega. They got the big donuts on the side of the number 3, big donuts on the side of all the front runners here. They've been all over each other, beating, banging, and it's just going to be the same thing here coming to the next restart.
Well, here we go. We're going to settle it potentially right here. 3 green-white checkered attempts should we need them, but 3 laps remain. If we make it to the white flag, the race is official. Win, Maines, lead them back into the restart zone. Green flag will come back out. Here we go at Daytona. 3 more times around, just under 8 miles to go in PGR on a Thursday. Oh man, Mullahan all over the back of Garrett Maines trying to get him clear. Eberhardt doing the same on the top side as Hennings gets a shot 3 deep from Chase Mistretta in the 74. They're pushing 3-4 cars deep, trying to get each other clear. And now my question as the field works onto the back straightaway for the first time is, where does that first big bonsai move come in the form of the third line? Eberhardt trying everything he can to get Kyler Wynn clear. Look at these guys, are all over the place. They're almost tandeling away from the field. Look at this going into 3.
I don't know what in the hell that was. That was some tandem drafting if I've ever seen it. That was unbelievable. I mean, flying. But now, here comes the huge run 3 wide. Where do they block? Do they stay in the middle? Garrett Maines has to check up. He has to stay in the middle. Eberhardt to the bottom. He's going to get a push from Landon Velicki. Cody Nagels on the bottom.
Oh!
Man, Garrett Maines down into the side.
Oh, there they
Here
go.
we go.
Back
Big
for the
wreck.
back. Malik Ray's going to wreck. Mistretta, big hit for Steven Scott. Airborne is Sean Corbett. Josh Bonwell involved. Other cars piling in the big one in turn number 1 as Steven Scott's tire is on his hood. Sean Corbett, huge damage to that car. John Ward is involved. Josh Bonwell is involved. Chase Mistretta is involved. And there was the wreck we've been dreading all night long. As it started with Malik Ray, who I think gets a shot from out back as he tries to square up one of these cars up front. Let's get a better look at it here. We'll try to go up top first. You see right there, Maines gets out of shape. It scrambles the field, and now watch as Malik Ray gets turned from behind by Jared Haynes. He's going to collect Brian Hennings, at least to a degree. Here comes Ray back down, and track is blocked. Corbett gets in the back of Mistretta. Vondell trying to skate by. Steven Scott Jr. goes straight up the hill, and this is where it gets violent. Huge hit for Scott. Vondell, Brambilla, Bonwell, Corbett, McCullough, Mastretta, Ward, York, Haynes. I mean, a ton of cars involved in this incident as guys scramble into the infield grass trying to make it out. Axel Smith involved. A ton of good race cars in the blink of an eye destroyed on the banking of turns 1 and 2. We'll take another look. As the stack up's going to start up front, you see Garrett Maines, he's going to get out of shape right there. As the top lane stacks up, when the field caught Wynn and Eberhardt, they split, and it stacks the field up. York and Bonwell get together out back, and then Ray gets hit from behind by Haynes as he tries to check up and allow that stack up to happen. And it is a complete melee on the banking of turns 1 and 2. Watch now. Watch this hit from Steven Scott. Straight up the hill. Nothing he can do except watch as his car pounds the outside saver barrier. Corbin and Bonwell both up in the air. Corbin does a cartwheel down the banking. Kenny McCullough, after recovering from the last incident, gets into this one. Nash Brambilla as well. Axel Smith coming into it. A big, big incident here in 1 and 2. We'll take one more look at it here as the field worked its way up the banking. As it starts kind of with this shuffle with Garrett Maines right there, and then from there it is just completely on. The track is blocked and guys are piling in, and oh man, some huge hits in this wreck. Mastretta, Corbett, McCullough, Ray, all taking big hits. Steven Scott, that car's not getting fixed. A massive, massive wreck is going to send us into PGR eSports overtime in the Nationwide cars. And now you look up at the scoring tower and there's a stunning lack of competition as a lot of guys have been out collected in incidents over the last 15 laps.
Yeah, it's just something that we don't see anymore. Most of the cars that we have are tanks, and this is not one of them for sure. It has a new damage model, but it is not as resilient as any of the other cars.
So we'll reset what is left of the field for you. Again, a lot of cars are on the pit lane or out of tonight's race. So we'll give you a bit of a rundown of who's all left. Daniel Eberhardt leads. Kyler Wynn is going to be second. Then it's going to be Landon Velicki third. Garrett Maines fourth. Cody Nagels in fifth. John Mullihan sixth. Josh McCullough in seventh. He hasn't run any higher than about 12th all night. He finds himself now back in seventh in that 22 machine. And it's Brian Hennings 8th, Devin Ray 9th, and Logan York is 10th. John Ward is 11th, Axel Smith is 12th, and Andrew Navarro is 13th. And now that Chase Mastretta comes off, he is the 14th place car. Everybody behind him, as I scroll through them, is either laps down, out, or repairing damage on pit road. Majority of tonight's field is repairing damage on pit road or retired from tonight's race. Only 14 as of now we're going to compete in this green-white checkered, so well, not a lot of energy to go around, not a lot of runs to go around, but certainly it's not going to change how hard these guys race with the moves we're about to see. And look at these cars that are up front. I mean, the 32, huge donut on the left side. 90, huge donut on the left side. The 41, huge donut on the left side. 20, a huge donut on the left side. Brian Hennings has one. I mean, most of the guys at the front that are now vying for a win, these cars would not be competitive in one of our normal races tonight, though. That's exactly what they've had to do. Logan York, look at his car. Devin Ray as well. John Ward was just involved in the wreck a second ago. Dylan Jones is laps down in the 37, but he's still out on track. He is many laps down. He's 10 laps down, and he's 8th on the inside, 9th on the inside. So 2 laps to go. A green-white checkered. 3 attempts available to us. These first 2 will play out like normal. And a caution comes out in the next 2.5 miles. When we take the green flag, we'll re-stack and try it again on that 3rd attempt. If the caution is, or the wreck is outside of our top 5 money positions or the race for those positions, the race will remain under the green flag, and we will race it out either until a wreck happens inside that battle or until we hit the white flag, in which case, at any point in any of these 3 attempts, if we get to the white flag, this race is official. Well, almost impossible to pick a winner. I'm not even going to attempt because so many different storylines here at the front. So many guys have won, so many guys have not in their PGR careers. And Obviously, still, they got to go 5 miles to make it to the end of this one with not a lot of cars left. Looks more like the dual race on a Thursday night in the Cup Series than it does a PGR race, but nonetheless, we're going to get it done potentially right here. Green flag is out for overtime number 1. Man, what a shot on the inside from Veliky to win, and it kind of harms them. It gets them up, jacked up off the ground. They tried to time it. It didn't work, and now they're going to have to try to regain that momentum. Eberhardt will go all the way to the lead. D3 will clear the bottom, but I don't think he'll take it. Much better formation up top. Veliky going to give Wynn a shot in the middle of the corner and revive the bottom lane. Wow, that was great work there by Veliky to get that bottom lane rolling again. The outside's going to have the run, and now Eberhardt may think about dropping down. He'll bring Garrett Maines with him. They are double clear. Halfway down the back,
Oh, man.
They're doing the tandem thing again.
Here goes the tandem. He's under him. They're driving away. I mean, they are flying. I think they can get away here at the white flag. I can't believe this. He's going to come off the back bumper, though. They're going to have a huge run coming to them. I can't believe what I'm seeing here in this last lap. We're having a little bit of tandem racing. Logan York all over the place. They're going to get to the white flag, though. They're going to get a huge run. Huge run coming here from this backside. Kyler Wynn, they got to back up. I don't know how they're gonna stop this run, but it's gonna be impossible.
They got to try to tandem again. If Garrett can get on the tandem of Eberhardt again, they can drive back away down the Daytona Super Stretch. It's not happening. Here comes the run from out back. Where do these guys go? They go bottom. Wynn to the inside of Maines. He'll get to the inside of Eberhardt. And here's the problem for Kyler Wynn. He's going to have teammates in his back rear view mirror coming off at turn number 4 for the final time of the banking of 3 and 4. Nagels and Veliky. When will they make their move? Landon Veliky, they got to go right now. They go. Wynn blocks. Another big block from Wynn. They wreck right in behind Kyler Wynn at the line. Does Wynn survive? He wrecks. He wins. And they all wreck at the line. They all wreck at the line. Kyler Wynn does it again with a big block off turn number 4. Blocks Veliky. The wreck starts behind him. He ends up in it. Crosses the line sideways. Shades of a finish from Tuesday Night Thunder earlier this season, where we saw the leaders come across the line sideways. We get another one of those tonight, and it's Kyler Wynn that goes again to PGR victory lane. Where did Brian Hennings come from? He finishes second out of that exchange. What a run for him. Well, before we get to the finishing results, we are certainly going to go back and take a look at this finish because there's a lot to unpack here. And look, this move is about as well timed as it could get. I think the only thing I might have done differently if I'm Veliky and Nagels is maybe back up just a tad. They did have a little bit of room to give with no run on the outside. If they back up, I don't think Wynn can throw this block, and Landon he waits a little too long. He gets right on the bumper, and unfortunately you don't have a ton of freedom here as to what you do. They time it well, and they both get outside, but Wynn is able to then turn right across the nose of Veliky because there's no momentum. Turns right across the bumper, turns across his bumper again, and Veliky is going to try to right it, and as he does, he slides, and he's going to get hooked here by Brian Hennings. Kyler Wynn narrowly misses the first one. Big hit for Veliky, almost gets up and over. Eberhardt involved as well. And then in the trial, McCullough, Smith, and Nagels come together and get into Hennings, who then turns Wynn to his right and gets him sideways across the start-finish line. And this is, again, it's almost exactly identical to that Tuesday night finish from earlier in the season where we saw several of the leaders sideways at the line, and the winner comes across halfway sideways. That's the case again tonight in PGR, and it's again at Daytona. So deja vu tonight on a Thursday, and it's Kyler Wynn coming away with a chaotic Thursday night victory. We'll go through your finishing results, get to hear from the top 3 in tonight's race. Kyler Wynn is your winner from Daytona over Brian Hennings in second. What a run for the driver for PGR. Cody Nagels finishes third tonight with Garrett Maines back in fourth. Josh McCullough finishes fifth. Axel Smith in sixth. Good run for Axel and Josh as well. Chase Mastretta in seventh. Devin Ray 8th, John Mullihan 9th, and Andrew Navarro rounds out the top 10.
11th, you've got John Ward. Great run for him coming back. 12th for Logan York. Danny Overhart in 13th with the, I can't believe the tandem at the end. I really wish it would have worked out for him and Garrett, but it didn't. Landon Veliky rounds out the last car on the lead lap. Jared Haynes, 15th. Nash Brambilla in 16th. Steven Scott, 17th. Mark Vondell, 18th. 19th, Tucker McClendon, and Malik Ray round out your top 20.
Sean Corbett finishes 21st. Josh Monwell in 22nd. Kenny McCullough 23rd. Kenny Reel in 24th. Dylan Basin 25th. Mike Davenport back in 26th. Dylan Jones 27th. Austin Floyd in 28th. Rick Baldwin 29th. And Chris Melton rounds out the top 30.
31st, Jimmy Emo, 7th. Carlborn in 32nd. James Wagner, 33rd. Corey Cook, Blues Motor early, 34th. Mike George in 35th. Sam McCarter in 36th. 37th, you got Josh Van Weston, Noah Lurch, Jeff Merck, and Christopher McCullough rounding out your 40-car field.
We're going to get to the top 3 interviews, and this should be a bit of a fun one after the finish we just had here from Daytona. So stick with us. We'll be right back, and we'll grab your top 3 to hear what they have to say about this finish tonight from Daytona. Back live from the Daytona International Speedway. Going to jump into your post-race show with some post-race interviews. We'll start first with the man who finished 3rd. It's Cody Nagels for Nightmare Esports, and Matthew Baker stands by.
Hey, Cody, it's Dawson and Matt from the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah.
Well, you and Velke seemed like you were in a great position there. Just weren't able to gin up the run that you needed. You knew Kyler was going to block there. Running this 210 steering ratio is going to be able to throw those crazy blocks. What else do you think you guys could have done there to try and get around him to get the win?
I wish, nothing against Landon, but I wish I was in his spot, like that the roles were reversed. But I was trying to get Landon to go as early as possible because I feel like the move is more predictable when you do it out of 4 like that. They're expecting you to do it. And when you have Kyler, who's a good blocker, it's a little bit too predictable, and he needed to turn up the track much, much quicker. He did it just a little bit, like very slowly, gradually. And that's why it was able to get blocked, and I was connected to him, and obviously it got him wrecked. But I think if he makes that move more sudden, you are opening up, either you're going to get to his right rear, or potentially you have the move down on the bottom. But nonetheless, I'm glad I got P3, but I'm upset because I think if he had that to do over, I guarantee he'd do it differently because he had a good shot to win the race, and I felt like I was going to push him to the victory lane, but unfortunately it didn't work out that way.
It didn't work out. Kyler's able to hold the block off. How I saw it coming down the backstretch, and you guys had such a run on those guys. I really thought you guys were going to deke Kyler to the bottom, hang him out to dry with himself on the bottom, and go all the way to the top 3 wide. But that's just me sitting up here in the booth watching. Hindsight's 2020. You guys did everything you tried to get Veliky that win, and he definitely deserved a shot at it. Just couldn't get to the outside of Kyler, but you bring home a 3rd place finish. Anyone like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, before I do, I'll say that I definitely thought about when we moved up with Kyler to the middle. I probably should have just called it to him because we had the run. I think I should have just had him go all the way to the wall because I think if we do, we win the race. But I want to thank you guys for putting on the broadcast. Mike T, I know he's not here, but what you guys do with PGR is pretty awesome, and I look forward to this every week. I want to thank my teammates at Nightmare Esports, Landon specifically, and Kenny. We ran with Kenny Reel tonight, and Martin Sports, and my parents for watching.
And that is your 3rd place finisher, Cody Nagels. Thanks for talking to us, bud.
Yep, thank you.
Cody Nagels.
That'll bring us to our 2nd place finisher, Brian Hennings. Brian, this is Dawson and Matt up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, sir. How's it going, guys?
Well, talk to me through that calamity that was the last green light checkered. You saw the tandem out front. No one knew what the hell was going on. I was freaking out up in the booth. So was Dawson. We didn't know what was going to happen with that big run. What was your mindset when you guys were catching Garrett and Daniel there at the end?
Just stay low the whole time. I mean, I kind of got back up to the front by going high, but that restart, just low line was working better, and I had the guys chirping in my ear, stay low, and I just stayed low the whole time. It worked out.
Well, you get a second place finish for PGR. Talk to me about the car. How did it handle? How did it feel today in that number 74?
I liked it a lot. I hope they run this car again. It felt pretty stable to me. I was running 8-1 and 360 on the steering, so it just seemed like it was just holding the lines better, and it was a lot more steady than getting blown around in the Xfinity car. So I hope they use this car again. It was great.
We hope to put it on the show at Daegu with it soon, and hope to see you out there. You're able to hold the wheel kind of straight across the line, finish it sideways for the P2. Nonetheless, coming home with a good payday. Who'd you like to thank or shout out?
Shout you guys out. Can't wait to go back and watch on the broadcast. Triscaro, Davenport, you, obviously Baker, all the other guys at PGR. It's been a great group to be part of. My teammates over at VRX, Robert Stanners, and can't forget my wife and daughter. Love you guys.
Thanks for talking to us, Brian. Hopefully we talk to you again, and good job on that second place finish.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, that'll bring us to your winner here in the tonight's PGR event, and these nationwide cars, and a guy that had to throw a mean block to do it, and that is the driver of the 32. It's Kyler Wynn. Kyler, it's the boys in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, you got to take us through this wild last lap. So the lap starts. Daniel Eberhardt, Garrett Maines drive away from the field. They tandem away from you guys. Going on the backstretch. We saw the run coming. We saw you guys get a run. You drive around them. Then you got Nightmare teammates in your mirror. They make the move off for you. You're able to fend them off. Take us through that insane last lap at Daytona.
Yeah, man, pretty standard stuff. I think I kind of got lucky. They should have. I think that if they went up in the corner or entering the corner, they would have blown my doors off. I can't really block in that scenario. But they waited until off the corner and gave me the opportunity to block. And I'd say I pulled off a pretty successful block, but then obviously nobody's lifting in that situation, and then landing gets driven through by the whole field pretty much. So unfortunate. Fortunate for me, rather. I won the race. But man, that tandeming looks so fun. I wish I got the opportunity to do that. I love tandem drafting. I wish we had a car that was capable of doing it on racing. Ever. Yeah, I don't. It seems like a glitch, but I hope we run this car more often. It's definitely a fun car. I had a lot of fun.
Well, it was a heck of a race to watch, and kind of going a little bit more in depth on the car. Obviously, we just got to talk to Brian Hennings about how this car felt. You kind of compare it to the cars we run on a weekly basis, and how was this car different? What did it do differently than what we're used to seeing? What did you feel from inside the cockpit?
So pretty standard like draft model, as in it's like similar to the truck and the Xfinity car. The Xfinity car is actually like really comparable. You can't really push in the corners. There's the bumper hook. But the straightaways you can shove the shit out of people, which I like. The Xfinity car you can't really do that either. The draft, I honestly can't tell. Like sometimes I have a massive run, other times I feel like there's no draft, so it's weird. I know this car is older and probably last been updated 10 years ago or whatever, but it's fun. I hope we run it again. Most comparable to the Xfinity car, current Xfinity car, I'd say.
Well, definitely a fun race to watch. Hope to see it again in the future. I know you guys are having fun down there on that last restart. So you get the victory, another PGR victory for you here tonight in this nationwide car. So before we let you go and celebrate your winnings, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, just well, I actually don't have a sponsor on the car, but Factory Steps, they hook it up.
Well, we appreciate you for talking to us. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate. We'll talk to you soon.
Yep, thank you.
Kyler Wynn in the 32, your race winner tonight from Daytona in what ended up being an insane race. Insane is the best way to put it. Just completely off the rails at times in this race as these guys fought this race car a lot of fun. Man, I'm jealous of these guys that got to drive this race car. I used to love it. It appears as if it doesn't drive much different as it used to, and these guys, they know how to put on a show. They did it tonight. That tandem was one of the most insane things I've seen in a long time. I haven't seen a car do that like that in that fashion in a really long time. It just isn't possible anymore. And, man, for a split second, you're like, oh, Garrett, they're going to jump out there and win the race. They're going to tandem away from the field. The field gets back to them. Big wreck at the line, and calamity strikes. But what a race it was. Baker, your final thoughts on a hectic night of racing here at Daytona?
I'm trying to see how they got tandem. It looks like he morphs through his back bumper, so hopefully it's not a glitch that we're looking at and something that can be exploited later on if we run this car again. But we have to run this car again. That was some of the best racing we've had. Yeah, we trashed him towards the latter half of the race, but we had a great green flag run there in the beginning of the race, and it was a ton of fun to watch. People learning this car, comers and goers, but the usual suspects up front there at the end, getting their doors blown off because of the tandem draft. That was a lot of fun to call, and I can't wait for the next one.
Well, absolutely a lot of fun here at Daytona, and hopefully we see this car back very soon here in the future. That's going to just about do it for us here from Daytona. Kyler Wynn gets another victory to his PGR resume to go on to a great 2024 that guy is having so far. Some great runs all around, some great racing, some big wrecks, calamity at Daytona, and it was a lot of fun. Going to be some racing throughout the weekend, I would imagine. And then, of course, our weekly series are back next week with Tuesday Night Thunder on Tuesday. The regular season finale of Tuesday Night Thunder here on PGR eSports next Tuesday night. Come out and see the 16 drivers that will lock their way into the Tuesday Night Thunder playoffs. And then we're back next Thursday night as well for our usual program here on PGR eSports. For Matthew Baker, my name is Dawson Wise. We brought you through all the action here tonight. Thank you so much for coming out and joining and spending your Thursday night here with us. If there's racing this weekend, we'll see you then. If not, we'll see you back on Tuesday for Tuesday Night Thunder. Make sure to join us then. Until then, good night.